Hi, it's Imabi Song, and this is Wisen with Imabi Song. See, I started this podcast recently this year, and I was like, not like I started this year. I mean, I've been on this podcast for a while. I felt, okay, this year I was going to be more consistent, but I found out that I wasn't able to be consistent, going forward. I had some of that stuff that came up and I had to do. I found myself doing so many stuff. So much stuff that I couldn't just keep up with recording a podcast as frequently as I wanted to. I wanted it to be every day. But I know that even right now, it might not be every day. But I'm going to try as much as possible to record podcasts. Often. So, let's get to it. This morning, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend. See, I just got into a relationship recently. I started dating this Igbo girl. Okay, I have actually had this girl for a while. Like, I've been checking her, I've been watching her. So I've known going to 3 to 4 months now. I've been watching her, I've been trying to understand her in different aspects, understand that person sexually, understand that person emotionally, understand that person spiritually, understand if she's a person that's ready to, build with a man, if she's a person who buys into a lot of these funny ideas that we have running all around now. Because, man, I have to distance myself from those kind of people. There's a lot of degeneracy online around us right now. It's like that's the main thing. It's like you don't even expect a girl to be decent. Like when you meet a person, you don't expect the person to have any level of decency. You don't expect the person to have any level of moral values. You just expect that the person has to be, crazy. And that's because that's what is rampant now. What is rampant now is this glow in degeneracy. Would I call it a glow? But yes, that's what's happening right now. So today I want to talk about your partner being your second hand. This morning I texted my girl and I said, "Good morning, second hand." And her response was, "Hey, good morning, love. How you doing? I hope you slept well." I was like, "Yes, I slept well." Then she asked me, "What do you mean by second hand?" Okay, let me start with, "What do you mean by second hand?" And I said, what's the difference? Because I answered that question with a question. I said, what's the difference between a person that has one hand and a person that has two hands? Then she said, the person that has one hand has one hand, and the person that has two hands has two hands. You have two hands, so I don't grab. And I was like, "Come on, this one go hard though." That's the answer she gave me. Then I responded, I said, "Okay, washing your hand with one hand and washing your hand with two hands, which one is better?" He said, washing your two hands is obviously better now. I was like, "Why?" He said, "Obviously two hands are better than one." Then I said, because one helps the other to reach the places it can't reach. I repeat, two hands are better to wash. When you're washing, it's better to wash your two hands or wash with two hands because one helps the other to reach the places it can't reach. So if you have finished eating and there's oil all around your hand, there's a limit to which you can bend your hand to the back. To wash the oil on the back. So you have to use the other hand to wash it. And the second hand helps the first hand to do it better and more efficiently. Same goes with fighting. Same goes with driving. Same goes with carrying stuff. That's why I called you my second hand. You help me to do life better. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm speechless." Well, apart from her being speechless, it is something really deep I want us to look into. And you see, when we men want to pick women, we are always all about the physical container. I have had my fair share of beautiful women, but that is all. It ends in beauty. These days, it's really difficult for you to see a beautiful one who takes the step across, across the physicality to have some deep personality or some feminine personality that makes you endear to her. You usually find yourself enduring other aspects of character which do not exist, which you actually need to exist but do not exist. You find yourself enduring them because the person is maybe beautiful and the person is like your spec. And that is usually what happens. We find out that many women cannot be your second hand. They cannot help you build life. They cannot help you with life. They're not people who are there to assist you. They are people who are there to take from you. The essence they give to you is to help you cure your congee sex. And as we know, many women are even bad at sex at the end of the day. But we forget that even in sex, we exchange sexual energies. So it's very possible that the fact that you're having sex with your girlfriend is bringing a lot of negativity into your life, because this person is already a negative energy for you. This person has no intention to care for you. This person has no intention to be there for you. This person has no intentions to understand the journey of a man and be there. This person has no intention to actually keep herself pure. Such people will actually give you negative energy. And mind you, sexual energy, sex is an exchange of energies. Spiritual energies, whether you like it or not, is an exchange of physical energies. It's also an exchange of spiritual energies. But that's one thing. We need to dig deep to pick out women whom we consider to be good for us. We need to dig deep to find women who are actually good for us. And that's in different ways. You get to understand that this energy and this vibe that they bring is necessary for a man that is growing. She has to be your second hand. She has to help you to fill up those places where you lack. She has to complement you. And this is me talking to men, but this also goes both ways. Men and women need partners in their lives who actually fill up certain holes. Because you cannot scrub your back, you need your partner to be able to help you scrub your back, because your back also needs to be clean. Let them be your second hand. Let them help you when you're fighting, because you really need your two hands to fight. Let them help you when you're driving, because you need your two hands to drive more efficiently. Especially when you're on high speed. You need your two hands on the steering. When you're driving a manual, you need one hand on the steering and one hand changing the gear. You need a second hand. Beyond a beautiful face, banging body, a good sexual companion, you will need a second hand. You need a helping hand. Look at men who are actually growing and building life. They all have a second hand. I did a kind of short survey. I was checking out, like, the wives of billionaires are not exactly the conventional beauties that we know, like models or something like that, or that kind of beauty. I checked, like, Mark Zuckerberg. I checked this wife. It's not so, she's not like the general idea of what a model body should look like. I checked Elon Musk, I checked Bill Gates, I checked a lot of these guys. And I found out that they didn't really prioritize that when they were picking wives. I'm sure they will have their fair share of beautiful women whom they must have had their way with throughout their lives, because of course they are men of enormous value and worth and wealth. But when it came to picking a woman whom they wanted to commit to long term, they were more conscious about the values that these people presented. Check it out. All the men who are pulling things great. Check them out. they pick a lot of things that are important. Men who want to be powerful, you can't pick a woman who cannot find your juju. What I mean is that a woman who is behind you, holding down your spiritual front or your spiritual front. She has to be providing some level of spiritual backup to you. She has to be, her mind has to be where your mind is. She has to be ready to fight battles with you. If you are looking for power, she has to be digging up power too. She has to be a person who is ready, to be a woman who is beside a man that wants power. You need to align yourself with a person who pours positive, powerful energy into you as you do pour into her. You need a second hand in this battle of life. You need a second hand to touch those places you cannot touch. You do not need to do life alone. You do not need to. When people say, okay, yes, I'm on my own, I'm business on my own, I'm just doing something. Yes, it might be a thing, but it is not a flex. Because you were not created to do that alone. And if you read most of the scripture, it talks about that. Look at the Bible. It says man was not meant to be alone. That's why a woman was created from his rib. It simply means we are not created to be, beyond even the married thing, we're not created to be beings who are isolated. We are meant to be beings who have social energy. We draw energy from other people that we interact with, as they do draw from us. And that is why we need to prioritize picking people whose energy can pour positively into us as much as we pour into them. Because a lot of people that have poor energy will come and take your good energy from you and release onto you bad energy. And we have a lot of those kind of situations to show in our families, our friends, our, life partners. You need a second hand. It doesn't need to be your girlfriend, it could be anybody, but you need someone that you can do life with. Someone that can, help you in this journey of life, that can help you in this battle of life. You have to have a person that you feel like you can build with. And even if you find the person today and you guys are no longer connected in later years, every interaction you have done has to be having something that builds you to some level. So I'm going to enjoin every man, because basically my podcast and the things I say, the contents I create are basically for men. But I believe that if men get it right, women would too, because men need women. But what I'm saying now can be used by both men and women in understanding, first of all, for men to understand the kind of women that they need in their lives, and for women to understand the kind of women that they ought to be in their men's lives. I have a lot of tweets on Twitter that talk about these things. Threads that I've put out that explain what this is. To be beautiful for you to listen to them. To read some of them. And at Wisen Man on Twitter, Imabisong, Billionaire Imabisong on Twitter. So you need to check out these things. So yeah, that's it from the Wisen Man today. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Till next time I come upon this podcast to bestow upon you some more wisdom. All I can say is stay wise.